Hey everybody, Danny Mod here. Thanks for joining us again. This week I have a really great drill. If you are struggling to strike your irons pure on a regular basis, maybe you're catching the ground a little bit behind the ball, maybe you're catching them a little bit thin, losing some power, or maybe you know that you're supposed to be compressing that golf ball, getting those hands ahead, but whenever you've looked back on camera, you've just found that you're in the same old position of flicking through that shot. In this week's training, we're going to show you how to get some compression using what I call the V drill. Before we do, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I would love for you to join our community. I release content like this every single week to try and help you improve your game. So let's get cracking. I'm going to give you two drills. I'm going to give you the V drill, and I'm going to give you, first of all, this simple exercise to help you feel what impact is supposed to be. So a lot of people realize that in order to strike a golf ball, if you want to strike it pure, we need to have a descending blow, and at impact we want to have this shaft here leaning forward. So many of the best players or the best ball strikers, if you imagine they're taking a 7-iron, you've got a true 7-iron loft, actually at that impact, when they actually strike a golf ball, they've actually turned that loft into almost a 5-iron, which is one of the reasons why they hit it so far. So the question is, how do you get to a stage where you can compress? Because I know a lot of people who are trying to compress the golf ball still find themselves thinning it, or really just not getting any strike at all. So let's start with a very simple exercise so you can feel exactly what a top player would feel like at the moment of impact. You get yourself set up here, and it's very simple. What we want to do here is, as we push a little bit of weight onto our left side, so we probably feel like we've got 80 or 90% onto the left side now, and all I'm going to do here is this. If I rotate my left shoulder, my hips and my shoulders slightly left of target, look what happens to the shaft. I'm not actually trying to get that shaft angle forward at all. All I'm doing is I move my shoulders to the left, that left shoulder pulls my left hand round, and I get that shaft lean. So what I want you to do is, your first exercise here is to feel what that's like. So you get yourself set up here, and all I want you to do is just start to, in a sense, turn your left hip and just feel like you're pulling your left shoulder backwards a little bit here. As you do this, you'll start to see that shaft lean. Feel what that's like. Yeah, like this. Just do a few exercises to feel what that's like. It'll feel quite strange if you're not used to it. Then what I want you to do is start to make a few swings where you might just kind of ignore the ball to start off with. Make a few swings where you're going to practice just turning, small back swings up to about here, and then just turning through into that position there, okay? Let's have a look at this in action. So all we're going to do, nice small shots to start off with. We're going to get ourselves set back here and turn ourselves into that position there. And you'll see from the impact, you're able to keep that compression. Let's do another one of those. So we'll get ourselves set up. This forms a great practice session for you, by the way. We just turn our hips, let our shoulder go backwards as well, and let that pull this handle forwards. Hold it for a few seconds, feel what that's like. Maybe do a few rehearsals. Feel what it's like. Nice and slow, don't get any big shots at this stage. And away we go again, small swing. Okay, nice and simple, just getting that rotation. Now once you've got the feeling of impact, then it gives us a chance now to start to extend this feeling. So that might be just a session in itself. But then what you want to do is you want to start to extend this session into a fuller shot. So what we're going to do now is move on to the V drill. The V drill is really, really straightforward. What we're going to do is we're going to swing ourselves back here, and as we move to about halfway down, this shaft angle now matches this kind of alignment stick I've got on the ground. Alignment sticks are about 30 degrees, 30, 40 degrees. And as we're coming down, we're not down here at this stage, we're halfway down, that shaft is matching that alignment stick on the ground. And what we're going to do now from here is we're simply going to pull around the corner here with the butt end of the club around here, so the shaft now matches that shaft on the ground. So we go on one side of the V to the other side of the V. So you start to get that feeling of back here, down to there, and then bang to that side of the V here. So bang. Compare this to this. If we do this, we've lost that part of the V, and we're definitely going to lose this part of the V if you start flicking, okay? Similar if you do this as well, if you're doing over the topper, if you start swinging over the top here, you've lost this side of the V. We want to come down from here. So let's have a look at this in action, and then we'll look from the other side. So we're going to swing it back. You're going to match this part of the V here and then pull it around here to go. Now the way I would work on this, nice and small to start off with, swing it back, pull down to there, and then just practice slowly moving through into that part of the V on this side of the golf ball. Now let's have a look from down the line, better view. So let's have a look from here. So what are we doing now? From this side, let me show you. We've got ourselves set up. As we're swinging down, as you get to about halfway, this shaft now starts to match this alignment stick on the ground. But what we want to do now is we kind of rotate, we want to then turn that around so it starts to match this one. Compare that to those people who early release and get that horrible flick, or those people come over the top. You can see it's not matching this shaft on the way down, and it's never going to get that lovely compressed strike. So we're swinging it back, we're coming back here, halfway down we're going to match this shaft, and then from here we're going to rotate and match this to create both sides of the V. So this is first part of the V, and that's the second part of the V. So let's have a look at this in slow motion. So we're going to go back, pause here, and then bang. A little bit skinny, that one, not my finest shot in the world, but hey presto, this is the thing, what happens when you work on drills. Not always perfect every single time, so be patient with all of these. Maybe I've got to do a little bit slower to start off with. So we'll get ourselves set, we swing it back, we're coming in here, and then we're going to feel that motion turning and getting the other part of the V on the way through. So a bit slower this time. One, loads better, much cleaner strike on the way through. So 2 drills there. Let's just summarize those 2 drills. First drill, make sure that you first of all learn the feeling of what this compression is. So it's not this. So many people make the mistake of trying to keep their hands like this on the way through. That is not. At no stage is this forming a letter V. In fact, the more you try and keep your hands ahead, the more you'll either take all the loft off the golf club and just fat it with no power, or you'll eventually think, hang on a second, the hands go, that doesn't feel right, and the wrists come in and you start to flick it. One of the key factors here when you're coming through is this: the way you keep the angle is first of all learn to feel what that angle is. Weight on the left side. Don't push your hands forward. That's not what we're after here. Allow the hands to go forward through rotation of the hip and the shoulder. That is what gets the shaft leaning forward, not an artificial hand motion. That's not sustainable. Once you've got that feeling, then turn it into the V. So we're going to swing back, we're coming in here, halfway down is one part of the V, and then we're going to rotate and form the other part of the V. So it's 1, 2, okay? 1, 2. In that motion, let's look from this side. As you're coming back here, we're swinging back halfway down, one part of the V, second part of the V. I suppose if I'm just going to give you a little bit of a bonus here, just to kind of make this, maybe add this to a strike. One thing I would say is it can feel a bit mechanical to start off with, so eventually what you'll need to do is start to let the wrist soften a little bit, so you try to allow this to happen, and what you're doing is you're firing into impact, so it looks a little bit more like this, so bang, a little bit of a whip into impact. But to start off with, it's trying to learn the feel of that motion, and then when you're starting to feel a bit brave, you start to get that sensation of where it's coming in here and what you need to do here, then you soften them wrists off a little bit to create a bit of snap at the bottom as well, so it looks a little bit more like this, back and through. Okay, so I really hope this helps you start striking those irons much better. If it does, and you think some of your friends could benefit from some training like this, please share it. As you know, it really helps. And of course, if you're new to the channel and this is one of your first videos, consider subscribing. But until next week, have a great golfing week.